guys, welcome back to another video. Lots to go over as usual, starting off with the Xbox partner preview, which did happen yesterday. It was about a 25-minute show where they showed off games coming from third parties and companies that they are working with, developers they're working with, games dropping onto Xbox, as well as games into Xbox Game Pass. I thought it was a very good show right off the bat. That's my just general reaction and thoughts to the show. I think it was nice, it was concise, and it was just games. And there was actually a lot of good games that they did show off, and games coming into Game Pass I'm pretty excited for. So we'll talk about that, plus many other things, some updates to cloud gaming. We have some strikes at Ubisoft. We'll go over everything. But before we continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that subscribe, share the video, like the video, and check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So here is the summary of the Xbox partner preview. They showed off 15 new games. Now, I'm not going to go over every single game here, but what I am going to do is mention some of the games that are exciting because they are either announced that are coming out right now. You can go ahead and pick them up, play them, jump in for free, or games coming over to Xbox Game Pass and games coming over soon. Like we have the Alan Wake 2 Lake House expansion that they did officially announce at the Xbox show. We saw that the release date did leak yesterday, but it is coming out on October 22nd. So if you're looking forward to that Alan Wake 2 expansion, you're going to be able to play that. But they did show off some stuff here. For example, there is a brand new first-person shooter multiplayer game from Remedy. It's the first one ever from them, and they showed it off at this showcase, and it is called FBC Firebreak, which is kind of like a co-op shooter. It looked really cool. I mean, graphically and everything looked interesting, and definitely something that I think people will be interested in checking out. If you're a fan of Remedy, it had their touch and feel on it when you do look at that trailer, which is awesome. Subnautica 2 coming to Xbox Game Pass, which I think is a big win. A lot of people loved the first one. You have Animal Well, that is very quickly acclaimed here. That is arriving on Xbox, and you can go play it today if you haven't played it yet. It is like a Metroidvania with shadows. The trailer is always hilarious with it, with Donkey narrating it. It is an awesome trailer. So Animal Well is now available on Xbox, which I'm sure a lot of people are happy to see. You have Blind Fire that you can go play right now. This is an interesting one. This is a first-person shooter that takes place in the dark, and you're obviously going to have to find your enemies without being able to see them. And I'm sure there's many different ways once you do jump in and play this early access preview of it, where you're going to figure all that out. But it looked pretty cool. It looks like an interesting, different take on the first-person shooters, which I do like to see because we get a lot of just pretty much the exact same thing when it comes to these new FPSs that come out, these games as a service, and then they just end up failing because it doesn't really do anything different than what the people are already playing. Blind Fire does look like it could be something that gives you a brand new, unique experience. So that was pretty cool. We have Chronos here, the New Dawn. This looks super, super good. This is the new game from Bloober, a horror psychological thriller one. I can't wait to see more about this game. Elden's Zero, which is an anime action game in 2025 that is coming over to Xbox. Now we have this one. This is coming to Game Pass. This one looked really cool. This is called Eternal Strands, and basically the combat has to do with burning everything or freezing everything and taking out your enemies that way. The combat looked like a lot of fun. I love this graphic style in these games, and if it's done well, I think some of these games are the best looking out there. So very cool to see this one here, and happy that it is coming over to Xbox Game Pass. You have FBC Firebreak. Again, that's the one that is from Remedy that is also coming over to Xbox Game Pass. So if you're wondering what this game is all about, and if you're just undecided of whether you'd want to even check it out and play it, well, you're going to be able to just download it on Game Pass for yourself and see if it's something that you will be interested in. The Legendary Babu, that one looked all right. They showed off Like a Dragon Pirate, the pirate game. Mistfall Hunter, which is another Souls-like action game. There's so many of these that are coming out. This one particularly looked very interesting, just in the action with the arrow and the different styles of combat, the magic and everything like that. So I don't believe this one is coming to Game Pass, but it is coming obviously to Xbox and PC, and I think this one looked very, very cool. Mouse PI for Hire, one we've seen before. It's kind of like that old school first-person shooter with the old school graphics and everything. It looks interesting. Phasmophobia coming to Game Pass this month. Subnautica 2, as I mentioned, will be coming over to Xbox Game Pass. Wheel World, which is a biking game, just a racing adventure biking game that looks relaxing, I had to say the least. I mean, I feel like you could just sit back and relax while playing it. And of course, this is also coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers coming to Game Pass. This is another Souls-like action game, dark fantasy. Looks phenomenal. I think this one's going to be a hit. And it's great that it is coming over to Xbox Game Pass. I know I said I wasn't going to go through all the games, but as I'm scrolling down here, there's so many of them that look really, really good. So I had to go through them all. But yeah, I thought this was a great showcase overall. I like these showcases, honestly. I like how it's just games after games, that they're smaller, but they just give you a nice deep dive into more games that you're going to be able to play. Third party, first party. This is like the third party version of what they've done with the developer directs, where they have those smaller looks at the first party studios. And I wish Xbox would do more of those as well. I think they're very well done. And I could say this year, I mean, I think Xbox has had the best shows throughout the entire year when you're comparing it to Nintendo and you're comparing it to PlayStation. They have been very consistent with providing just solid showcases. And hopefully that continues going through next year. Don't really have anything negative to say about this showcase other than I can't wait until a lot of these games do drop into Xbox Game Pass. So that was a fun show. And I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Which game are you most interested in? Which one do you want to play? Which one are you going to play on Game Pass or just pick up? Love to hear all your thoughts on that. All right, let's talk about this because Xbox Cloud Gaming is getting major updates. I mean, we're getting the buy and stream feature in November, which I'm very excited about. So it's not just going to be Game Pass games you can stream. It's also going to be games that you purchase that you're going to be able to stream. And we have some more info here. Now, this article is currently locked behind a paywall, but basically it is talking about how Microsoft and Xbox are putting more resources into cloud gaming to improve it. And these are the improvements they're talking about here. So there's direct to cloud controllers, more cloud gaming features, improvements to the visual quality of the streams, and improved bit rates that should come soon. And I feel like they've already been doing that. We've already been experiencing that over the last year. I know I've talked about this multiple times on this channel, and it's not just because Xbox Cloud Gaming is getting more features and everything, and it is kind of moving in that direction where cloud gaming is going to be a major part of the gaming industry. But over the last year, cloud gaming has been significantly better for me via Xbox. Bit rates have definitely felt like they've been improved. There's been less weird, granular looking images on the screen itself. So I think we're already seeing a lot of these improvements, and I believe they're going to even try to make them better. One of the things, obviously, is are they going to increase the stream fidelity? Is it going to go up to like 4K? We're going to get 4K from Xbox Cloud Gaming, which they absolutely at some point should do. So I hope that is going to be one of the major improvements that they do bring over. But besides that, cloud gaming to me, even on mobile network, has been very, very good. So hopefully they keep doing that, and I will continue to use the service as long as it keeps functioning as well as it has been. Now, if you're a Game Pass member, there is a special sale going on here. Another one of these things, if you're subscribed to Game Pass for the perks, and it is an exclusive sale on Xbox between October 15th to October 22nd. Games all the way up to like 80% off. You got Hogwarts Legacy Deluxe. You have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown 40% off, which I highly recommend. It's a very, very good game. Top Spin 2K25, a tennis game that I definitely want to jump in and play at some point. But lots of games here exclusive to Game Pass members until October 22nd if you're looking to get a discount on some games that you haven't picked up for your collection and for your catalog yet. All right, jumping over here, looks like Glenn Schofield wants to make another Dead Space. He wants EA to give him the opportunity. As we know, he tried to make a spiritual successor with Callisto Protocol. I haven't played the game yet, but it seems like from what a lot of people said, it did not really hit the mark. And he actually left the studio after creating that game, so he is definitely available right now to go out there and create a new Dead Space and a new one into the series. And EA kind of shut it down, Callisto Protocol, in a way, because they came out with the Dead Space remake, which was just much better from all the comparisons that you did see out there. So Dead Space is definitely that series that if they were to release a brand new one in the series, it would do very, very well. I'm surprised EA hasn't thought about doing that yet. And we're seeing the success of things like Silent Hill 2 now with the Silent Hill 2 remake that has launched, and that's done very well. I believe it's already sold 1 million copies. And it actually says right here 1 million copies in 10 days after launch on October 7th. And it looks like Glenn Schofield wants back. He wants to be able to make a new Dead Space. He tweets this out. First, thank you so much for the kind words regarding Dead Space. Looking back, EA gave me the support and opportunity to bring it to life. It would be cool to do a new one. Thanks again. And I would love to see that happen. I know Callisto Protocol didn't hit as people would have wanted it to see it hit, but EA is a much bigger company. They have a lot more resources, and I think if they gave them the time, the money, resources to bring back the space, it would be a awesome entry back into the series, and it would do very well. You can see that people are wanting these horror games back. They're wanting to go back into the catalog, get the remakes, and they get new entries into these series. Very popular right now when you're looking at how well some of them are selling. Okay, let's talk here with Shawn, Layden, who is always never at a loss for words on the industry. And he says a lot of things that they don't seem that insightful, to be completely honest. Just kind of, you look at the industry and you can see this as well. But he made some comments here on the arms race, which I've absolutely agree with. I believe the arms race has plateaued. And he says here, we've done these things this way for 30 years. Every generation, those costs went up and we realigned with it. We've reached a precipice now where the center can't hold. We cannot continue to do things that we have done before. It's time for a real hard reset on the business model, a hard reset on what is to be a video game. It's not 80 hours, it's not 90 hours, but if it is, that's a whole different category. He says that it has plateaued. We're at a stage of hardware development that I call only dogs can hear the difference. If you're playing your game and sunlight is coming through your window on your TV, you're not seeing any ray tracing. It has to be super optimal. You have to have an 8K monitor in a dark room to see these things. We're fighting over teraflops, and that's no place to be. We need to compete on content. Jacking up the specs of the box, I think we've reached the ceiling. I mean, there's nothing really insightful from what he has said there. I mean, I've been saying this for a while. A lot of people have been looking at the industry for a while and seeing just kind of what is going on. This is where we are at. We are at diminishing returns now in the console space. And honestly, even in like the PC space, when you're spending all that money on a new GPU, yeah, you'll see a difference, but we are at those diminishing returns where is it really worth the upgrades we are getting? Like if you're going to look at even the PS5 Pro now compared to the base PS5 and the Series X, will those upgrades actually be worth the money that you are spending? Are you really going to notice the slight increase in image quality, some ray tracing? Probably not. It's not going to be that noticed to the naked eye. You're sitting back, you're playing this on a big screen TV and everything. And we're at a point where, because those games are getting bigger and they're focusing so much on the graphical elements of it, the optimization cost, the time to make sure that they run properly, is increasing. And the overall cost of creating these games just continues to go up. And we're seeing the effects of what has had on the industry this year with the layoffs and this closures and game cancellation. So the question is, where do we go from here? Do we go back and scale back games, make them shorter, make them more AA, don't care as much about graphics? And in the next generation, I do believe we're going to have a very high powered at home console, both on the PlayStation and the Xbox side of things. But where I think the success is going to come next gen from the consoles is going to be more Nintendo Switch style consoles. Less powered consoles, cheaper and portable. I think that's where it is going with the at-home consoles. So when we're talking about Xbox next gen, a handheld is an absolute no-brainer, and they absolutely should do it, which I do think that they will. And that will probably be the Xbox console that sells far more than the at-home major powerful one, especially if they're going to be entering the market at about $700, which I think the PS5 Pro is kind of setting that base price now going forward for the more premium consoles when they do come out. Okay, let's jump over here and talk about a couple of more things. We'll talk about Call of Duty, because Call of Duty, I mean, we're going to be talking about it for a while now as it gets closer to its release, but they are finally fixing the UI, which is a good thing. I find the UI in Call of Duty just not very good, the whole launcher. They are fixing the UI, and it is going to be coming out very soon ahead of the release of Black Ops 6. They put out a tweet here, and they do say, on Monday, an update will introduce the new Call of Duty interface and preload Call of Duty Black Ops 6 onto your device for those who have pre-ordered the game. And you can download this pre-launch update and check out the new UI and be ready to play Black Ops 6. So this is going to be the new UI. You can see the pictures here. You can go to the link in the description as well if you want to see the images yourself. But it just seems overall cleaner, easier to find the game that you're looking for. It has all of the old games in there as well if you still want to jump in and play those. And there's going to be the pre-launch as well, that this is going to load up on Monday. Well, this will be your brand new UI. If you want to play Warzone, you want to play MW3, you want to play Black Ops 6 when it comes out. I think it's a good thing, because the current UI just is not very good. And finally, Ubisoft continues to go through it. 700 Ubisoft workers strike in France across their different locations. It says, as reported by French news outlet Le Monde, 700 employees have joined the strike, with 100 people picketing on their Paris location, and 50 people in Montpellier, Annecy, and Lyon locations also have employees on strike. So they are going through everything with their decline, with the potential of maybe going private and selling, and now on strike is not going to help them. Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of the most important pivotal moments in Ubisoft, to say the least. That game needs to do well, and we'll see how it does. There's a lot of pushback, of course, with the whole culture wars behind it, but the game to me looks good, and I think it will sell well. That will probably give them a bit more life if it does meet their expectations. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.